What is up, everybody? This is Julian, and we're ready to go with the Kane Take Show. And let's get right into it with the NBA All-Star Game. What everybody think?
The game itself, I mean, the Pro Bowl's got to take some notes because the All-Star Game is an exciting event every year. I mean, even all the events leading up to it, I think they do a great job with it. The three-point contest was great. Dunk contest was great. Not to toot my own horn, I did pick Karl Anthony Towns to win the three-point contest at plus 1,200. So I'm going to mention that a couple times, and we're hype about it. But overall, I mean, the dunk contest needs fixing, obviously. But besides that, that was a pretty successful All-Star weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I thought definitely the beginning of that All-Star game was not too entertaining. Kind of just letting people run right through. I think the fourth quarter was definitely exciting. Seeing LeBron hit the game winner was cool, and Curry's shooting was just ridiculous. I think they've never lost together, those two, Curry and LeBron. So it's an exciting.
I don't know, Dan. I got to take an issue with something you said just to start the show. The dunk contest was not great, my friend. I
said it needs fixing. I said it needs.
We can't have guys missing more dunks than they're making. I mean, I don't like Stephen A. Smith's antics normally, but he had some good points when he was ripping the dunk contest. I mean, Cole Anthony, this is not a guy who's gonna, impress you with your dunks, with his dunks. It's cool to finally see the Knicks win something with Obi Toppin. That was exciting, especially as a New Yorker. I felt, and he was my pick to win. But I agree with what Stephen A. Smith said. He was ripping into the dunk contest. It needs to be changed, like you said, and it can't be called a dunk contest if guys are missing that many dunks.
Mm-hmm. We need to start getting the stars in the dunk contest. I don't know if it's an injury risk or something they don't want to show off, but when is it going to get time where you get some A-list talent in the dunk contest like it was when MJ would do it, Vince Carter, Kobe? And I mean, it feels too watered down to be excited for Cole Anthony's dunks on All-Star Weekend.
There's no.
Yeah, sorry about the technical difficulty there, boys. We're gonna get that figured out. But, Dan, I agree. I couldn't agree more. Like, what's the point of hosting the All-Star Weekend when you're gonna have like the worst All-Stars participating in the most exciting competitions? Like, everyone wants to see. I mean, the most recent best dunk contest we had was Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon in 2016 or something.
Yeah, I think it was 2016.
But yeah, I mean, we just need to see, and that wasn't even, they weren't even two of the best players in the league at the time.
Right. 100%
so,
right.
We just kind of got lucky with them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's move on to college basketball. What are you guys thinking about the March Madness is quick approaching, and what are we thinking about? What do we like?
I watched Texas Tech these past 2 weeks, and I'm really impressed with them. They beat a tough Baylor team twice this season. They're undefeated at home, which obviously doesn't necessarily come into play in the tournament, but I'm really hot on them right now. I'd love to see them play a big team like Duke or something in the tournament to really show how good they are.
You got it. You got it, Julie.
I was gonna say I'm very high on Arizona this year, and I'm obviously riding high on a team that is the number 2 ranked team in the country. But hey, Arizona hasn't been in this spot where they're a top 5 team in a while. They're dominating the Pac-12. They just moved up to number 2 after Auburn lost, and I think this team is going to go. I have nothing but confidence in this Arizona team. They're dominating the Pac-12, like I said, and I like that. It would be so cool to see a Pac-12 team win this year.
You mentioned them briefly, but I'm a huge fan of Auburn basketball this year. I know and usually think SEC basketball, mine immediately goes Kentucky, but Auburn's been dominating teams all year. They've had a couple losses recently against Arkansas and somebody else just a few days ago. But I still think they're one of the better defensive teams in the entire country, and Jabari Smith's been a great scorer for them all year.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there on that. I think Auburn definitely the best defensive team so far. Probably on the other end, you got Gonzaga, going to be the best offensively. And I think it's definitely a lot more wide open this year. I think last year you had Gonzaga and Baylor, probably the two clear-cut best teams. But I think it's just a lot more wide open this year.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's definitely more wide open. I think we have teams like Auburn that you don't normally see up there in the top 10. I think, Dan, you were referring to their loss against Florida the other night.
Yep, that's
63-62. But yeah, no, they've looked great defensively all season. And as far as Arizona goes, I keep them in a category with Gonzaga where you're one of the best teams in the country, but can you win it all at the end of the season? That's really the only for the two of them.
I've given up on Gonzaga at this point, man. I mean, look who's in their best team in the conference is what? St. Mary's?
Yeah.
They lost to Alabama by 9 at home. They lost to Duke by 3. They can't beat the big teams.
And Chet Holmgren, I know that was the big prospect coming in, the number 1 ranked guy. And it's not like he's been bad this year, but I feel he hasn't lived up to the hype that he kind of came into the season. I still think Drew Timme is probably the best guy on that Gonzaga squad. So it's going to take Chet Holmgren to step up and really unlock the potential that a lot of people saw in him come March if they really want to make a run.
Yeah, Julian, you mentioned Gonzaga's loss to Duke. Duke's an interesting team this season. As Miami Hurricanes, we know we went into Cameron Indoor, not the 4 of us personally, but the Hurricanes basketball
Our Cane squad.
Cane squad went into Cane Skitball, as I call them, went into Cameron Indoor and took down Duke. They've lost to Virginia. They've lost to Florida State. Personally, I don't like this Duke team. Normally I'm really hot on Duke every year and they let me down. But for some reason this year, I'm not feeling them. I don't think they're going to make it past the Sweet 16 this year.
Look, I mean, the Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett days are kind of over for Duke right now. And they're ranked 7th, but can they win? Can they get back to the Final Four? Can they win those big games in March? Their top scorer is Paolo Banchero. I mean, this is not a guy who's inspiring confidence the way that Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett did a few years ago. So I agree. I don't think this Duke team is cut out for what it takes to win come March.
I'm not as pessimistic as you guys. I mean, I probably won't pick them to win the tournament by any means, but I mean, it is Duke and it's the end of the Coach K era. I mean, I could see something special because they'll have their own motivations going into March. But I mean, once again, it's March Madness for a reason. You kind of never know what's going to happen.
No, that's a great point, though. Coach K's last season, he'll give them a hell of a speech going into that first tournament game. So we'll see how they play in the ACC tournament. Maybe Canes can take them down in that again.
Canes by a million.
Canes by a million, always. Aaron, you got any takes on March Madness? Any teams you're liking besides Auburn?
I think definitely Gonzaga and Auburn are the 2 teams that are going to put up the best fight. I like Purdue. I think they got a lot of upside. Definitely started off better than this season than they've done recently. But I think that's a team with a lot of upside.
I'm really hot on Purdue as well. They lost at Rutgers, which is ugly, and they got blown out by Michigan a couple weeks ago. But besides that, they've been playing great basketball all year.
So many teams are inconsistent.
Yeah, it's college basketball.
I remember seeing my first Purdue game this year and seeing Zach Edey and thinking, who is that giant, that 9-foot giant on the floor right now? I was honestly pretty close to the hype, but he is one hell of a player. And he's probably the best player in the Big Ten by a lot of metrics.
Definitely.
So he's exciting to watch.
All right, guys. How about we talk a little NFL free agency? I've been reading a lot about Aaron Rodgers and his mystery Instagram posts. I don't know if you guys saw that. He made it.
He's always stirring stuff up on Instagram.
Yeah, about how grateful he was for his teammates and his now ex-fiance. It was quite bizarre, but
things are not going well in Rodgers' world right now. But as the four of us know, he's a hot commodity. He's still, probably top 3 quarterback in the NFL. But to me, I mean, the best thing for Aaron Rodgers is to end his days in Green Bay. It ended with that upset at home to the 49ers. I think the Broncos are obviously the number 1 next best fit. I think at this point they're a better fit than the Packers are. He needs a fresh start to end his career, and he needs that second ring. I mean, he's the talent-wise.
That being said, too, I agree with you definitely on that. And that being said, too, what do we think will happen with his star wide receiver, Davante Adams?
So I think both will end up leaving Green Bay. It's a little confusing trying to read anything Aaron Rodgers is saying at this point. I mean, it's best of luck. I think Davante Adams, I think his perfect fit. I actually wrote about it the other day. The Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, they need a number 1 wide receiver. Derek Carr was his quarterback in college. Yeah. I think he's proven to be definitely a top level quarterback, and I think they would have instant chemistry and really help.
Derek Carr a weapon.
Yeah, and him and Waller, maybe they can finally keep up with the Chiefs in the AFC West. And then for Aaron Rodgers, now think about this. There's a certain team that did just lose their legendary quarterback that is right in win now territory with their roster. Imagine if Rodgers went to Tampa Bay, took that team to the Super Bowl. What does that say about him, and what does that say about Brady?
Interesting. I thought you were going to say Pittsburgh. I thought you were going to say Rodgers go take over for Roethlisberger.
I mean, that's another great spot. I mean, they're another team that probably needs a veteran quarterback because Mason Rudolph is going to win you all 3 games next season.
Yeah.
If that. I think – go ahead, Spencer.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said they're both staying in Green Bay. But obviously, I mean, Dan, you're right. There's no reading into anything Aaron Rodgers says or does, but I'm going to go for it anyways. I think he's out of there. I think he's thanking his team for some great times and a good Super Bowl. And I think he's packing his bags and he's going to move to California. I think he's going to join the 49ers, the team that beat him. He went to Cal, grew up in California. Could see him playing for the 49ers.
If you can't beat him, join him, man. He's 0-4 against the Niners in the postseason. Maybe he needs to be on that side of the football when he's facing the 49ers.
I can't imagine the stick he would get for doing that. Enough as he already gets.
Yeah, that he would never hear the end of that for sure. It'd be funny to see him there. Realistically, I don't know if he's if you can't beat him, join him type, but I like from a personal and team standpoint, apart from the fact that he's 0-4 against them in the playoffs, I think the 49ers are a good fit. I mean, Debo Samuel running or receiving from Rodgers is just crazy to think about.
You have George Kittle doing the blocking and catching. I mean, there's no telling what the damage he could do in the NFC West.
Yeah.
So if he was to go to the Niners, though, does that mean they're giving up on Trey Lance? That's my one. It makes so much sense, but I guess he would have to be on the move too at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a GM, you gotta take Rodgers over Lance if you can get him. But
you keep Lance in there.
Yeah,
let him develop. I think it's not a problem letting Jimmy Garoppolo go at this point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that the Rams are here to stay, though. I mean, who's challenging the Rams in the NFC West? I think the 49ers have a chance to do it right now. I think Rodgers has, maybe 3 or 4 good years left. I say go for that. They made it to the NFC Conference Championship this year. I say go for it. I say give Trey Lance a few years. I go for that ring. Niners need to win.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the Rams, they're going to have a big free agency. Seeing if they can re-sign OBJ, Von Miller, and then the team that they beat, the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they definitely got to franchise tag Jesse Bates, 100%, and then definitely bolster that O-line. Probably Ryan Jenkins would be a good target for them at center.
I think one of the sneakiest free agents in the entire class this year is Tyron Armstead, the big tackle from the New Orleans Saints. He's been one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL for the past half decade. The Bengals have the money to get him, and that would go a long way. And bolstering up that O-line, put him at left tackle, move Jonah Williams, their first-round pick, into guard, who's been struggling on the outside. It could go a long way in making that team a whole lot more of a threat in the NFL going forward.
PFF has him at number 2.
Oh wow, yeah. He's a stud.
He's a stud, and I'm more convinced that the Dolphins are gonna win that bidding war for him. I think that's probably where he's gonna end up.
I mean, wherever he goes, it's gonna make a huge difference. I mean, it's just as big as a signing as Devontae Adams would be, in my opinion.
In addition to Devontae Adams, we got a couple other wide receiver free agents. 2 out of LA, 1 out of the Chargers, and 1 from the Rams. Odell is up for grabs potentially. I'm assuming he'll probably sign back with the Rams. But more interesting to me is Mike Williams as a free agent. Justin Herbert obviously wants to keep him around. One of the best receivers in the league over the past 5 years. You think he re-signs with the Chargers?
I would guess probably not. I think he's going to end up getting more money if he goes somewhere else because he is the number 2 in Los Angeles. I think a perfect fit would be the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, Devonta Smith is a smaller receiver, great route runner, and Quez Watkins is a speedster. They really lack that big red zone guy that can get the jump ball, and I think he'd be a perfect plug-in and go a long way for the development of Jalen Hurts.
If you're the Chargers, if you're Justin Herbert, you need to keep Mike Williams. He's the guy, like Dan said, who's going to go up and get that big touchdown. He reminds me a lot of the way he plays of Mike Evans. So I think Justin Herbert, I love this kid. He's probably one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I think for his success, he needs to keep Mike Williams. You've got a very talented wide receiver, also in Keenan Allen. But Mike Williams is that height and strength that he brings to the field is something that'll be crucial for Justin Herbert's success.
Yeah, I mean they've loved that big playability that he's had, and I think why get rid of weapons for Herbert? I think maybe Allen Robinson could be another target, but I think the best landing spot for him would be to return back to Jacksonville and team up with Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I think they'd accept him back home with open arms.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm going to have to agree, disagree. I don't think that he's leaving. I think he's going to stay. I agree with Julian. Now, I mean, obviously the Chargers need him, but I think he's going to give the Chargers the benefit of the doubt and see what he can do with them again. Maybe sign a 1-year deal, see if it goes well.
It was a disappointing end to the last season, but the potential on that Chargers team is insane.
Through the roof.
Oh, definitely.
Some other good guys on the defensive side of things too. Tyron Matthew being one of them, and I could definitely see him going to the Ravens.
I don't know. I can't imagine him leaving Kansas City. I mean, I don't know how Kansas City is with the cap right now. Don't have those numbers right in front of me, but I feel like he's got to understand they're building something special there, even though it's been a tough last couple seasons. I think he's so huge to that defense, and I think the Chiefs understand that too, that when he's in versus when he's out, how much worse that pass defense is. They got to make that a top priority to get him back, more than pretty much any other free agent that they have this year.
I agree.
Mahomes coming back with a vengeance, man.
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't think Matthew's leaving. I think he wants a ring with another ring with Mahomes. No reason to fix it if it ain't broke.
Another defensive guy that I know that's come out that's actually had some problems recently with the team that he's currently on, J.C. Jackson, has come out and said that the Patriots don't want him that much according to the conversations and I guess that they've had. If he's on the move, I mean, he has 17 interceptions the past 2 seasons with the Patriots, which is the most in the entire NFL. Whoever gets him is going to get an instant playmaker. I mean, half the NFL can use a good cornerback, so it's kind of tough to pin down where exactly he would go. But whatever team gets him is getting an instant upgrade in a cornerback 1 on any roster.
Yeah, absolutely. He's CB1. He's a ball hawk. I mean, probably get couple interceptions out of him every season for a couple more seasons. I don't know.
They gotta try re-sign him.
Absolutely.
They
Lost
should.
Gilmore. They need him.
They have
Especially after that.
They have plenty of veterans on that team. Trent Brown, Donta Hightower, but
Judon.
They need him. He's CB1, one of the best in the league.
Absolutely. Why don't we get into our best bets of the week now?
Yeah, let's close out with some best bets. We're going to give you guys just our favorite picks of the week. We'll keep track of these every week. Everyone will pick 2 or 3 bets that they like for the week. And coming back next Wednesday, we will let you know how we did. We're going to start off with Aaron. Aaron, who are you feeling this week?
So I've gone with 3 Premier League games that I like for this weekend. First one being Spurs Tottenham moneyline versus Leeds. Came off a bad loss today against Burnley, but I think the value here is you're not usually going to get value like this. Leeds have been just awful this year. Lost today 6-0 to Liverpool. So I think the value here is definitely huge, and I could see the line shifting a little bit more in Tottenham's favor.
Yeah, Sorry, I was just going to say Tottenham at -100 sounds like I don't even follow soccer that closely, but I might have to throw.
Yeah, it's pretty good value for sure. And then the next bet I have, Brighton versus Aston Villa, under 2.5 goals at -130. Brighton, they're built from the back for sure. There's been less than 2.5 goals scored in 13 out of their last 15 Premier League games. And Villa have struggled massively offensively as well recently, haven't scored in their last 2 games. So I can't see too many fireworks in this one. And I think 2.5 goals is a good line to bet the under. And then the last bet I have, Newcastle money line at Brentford. Brentford's slightly favored in this one, and I can't understand why. Despite them, I understand they're at home, but they're around +150 on the money line. Newcastle's January signings have instantly made an impact. They're undefeated in their last 5 Premier League games, 3 of which are wins, I believe, 2 or 3 of which. And Brentford are winless in their last 7 Premier League games, 6 of which being losses. So, yeah, I think Newcastle is a great team to hammer here at good value as well.
Good stuff. Dan, who are you feeling this week?
So I took 1 college game tonight and then 1 NBA game tomorrow. Tonight's game, Michigan -5 against Rutgers. I think a lot of people are going to be taking Rutgers, or they've had a lot of big wins recently. I mean, they beat Wisconsin. I know they beat Ohio State. They beat Purdue at one point. I mean, it was Iowa. Sorry, they lost to Purdue. And they've been on a roll, and I think a lot of people are remembering what happened with Juwan Howard a couple of days ago, thinking Michigan doesn't have a coach. They might be a little disorganized. I think these Michigan guys are going to be hyped today. I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. I think it could be a double-digit win at the end of it. And Portland +9, the Trailblazers are going against the Warriors. It seems like a weird bet to take because Portland, deservedly so, are big underdogs. But Portland's actually been pretty good against the spread, better than you'd think, even since McCollum left. Anthony Simons has actually made a huge impact on the team. He's been one of their best scorers. And Golden State's actually is 0-4 at the spread before the All-Star break. And they haven't completely gotten it together since how hot they were at the beginning of the year.
Very nice. All right, I'm going to go. I got a hockey bet, NHL, and I have a bet on the UFC this weekend. The Caps play the Rangers tomorrow night. The Rangers are great at home. Caps are great on the road, but I like value, and the Caps are at +110. They've won 5 straight away games. I'm taking the boys in red, who will be wearing white in New York. Then for the UFC this weekend, we got Terrence McKinney's second fight of his UFC career. He will be fighting Faraz Ziam. I was surprised to see him at +105. He took the lightweight knockout record in his first UFC fight, only 7 seconds to KO Matt Frevola. I see him finishing Ziam again. I don't know why. I don't know what Vegas is seeing that I'm not, but I see McKinney beating Ziam to a pulp and finishing him inside 2 rounds. Julian, who are you feeling?
Yep. Let's get into it. Well, for this week, I have hockey, and then I have college basketball this week. Oh, to start off, going off you, Spencer, the Rangers' next matchup is another huge one. They have a match in Pittsburgh with the Penguins, who they are just 1 point back of in the Metropolitan Division. This is a tough one to feel out. This is tougher than the Caps and Rangers. This will be the first meeting between the two teams. I think on paper, the Penguins are just – it's hard to argue that they're not better than both the Rangers and Caps. They have home ice. That said, the Rangers have been very resilient this year. They have a top goalie in Igor Shesterkin. You've got incredible forwards in Chris Kreider, Mika Zibanejad, and Artemi Panarin. I think the Rangers, either way, come out hot. I think it's going to be tough to beat the Penguins on home ice. The spread is going to be something I would not bet on. I think this is a very close game. I think the Rangers hold steady, and the Penguins will certainly be the favorite, but I think the Rangers will keep this one close. I've got to go with the Penguins with an overtime win this week or this weekend. I think that offense is just too good. You get Sidney Crosby, Jake Guentzel. You got a really good defense for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Chris Letang and Brian Dumoulin have been excellent. I think the Penguins take this one in overtime, but I think it's going to be a very close game. The Rangers are going to hold steady. And then for my college basketball pick, I've got Ohio State versus Illinois. It's hard not to pick Illinois with this one, but the spread is -7.5. That Ohio State's been average against the spread. They've also been undoubtedly the worst team in the Big Ten. Ohio State against the conference is 10-5. Illinois is 12-4. Illinois is ranked 15th. Ohio State 22nd. Ohio State has had a much harder time against ranked opponents this season. There have been some bright spots, and certainly if anybody knows about that team, knows that the offense runs through E.J. Little. He's the team's top scorer. He's highest in rebounds and blocks. It's going to be paramount that E.J. Little plays well for Ohio State. That said, if you're looking for value, I would bet against the spread, but I would not bet on Ohio State. I think Illinois takes this game by 5.
Good stuff, guys. Before we head out, I just want to talk about really quick. We had a huge Canes football game last night. Miami had a 21-point win over Pitt. Let's go Canes. Big W. Hopefully we'll see them in the NCAA tournament. All right, guys. That was Cane Takes episode 2. And we'll see you next week for episode 3. Take care, guys.